Welcome everybody, my name is Roberto Parker. Time for another Health Detective Talk. Build a Better Athlete Part 3. Today I'm going to discuss how to split up your routine. If you're a competitive athlete, if you're training athletes, if you personally are involved in some sort of athletic event or training for an event, for example an adventure run like the Warrior Dash, the Tough Mudder, the Maniac Run, maybe a triathlon, maybe you're training for the Ironman, maybe you're just going to do a 26.5 mile marathon. This talk is for you. How to split up your routine to meet your needs. So let's get into it. Build a Better Athlete Part 3. Now, I've been doing this for a lot of years, and I've seen a lot of different ways to split up macrocycle, mesocycles, microcycles. You can look those up in Google if you want to look up the definition of those. But basically, that's how you plan out your training program. Now, the last part 2, I talked about how to split up your athletes individually based upon their needs. This is kind of similar to that, except this is more of a global team approach. If I'm training an athlete or a team, the way that I typically do it is going to be one of these 4 areas here. Sometimes I'll cycle between 1, 2, 3, and 4. If I'm going 4 days a week, which is kind of the norm today, 4 days a week, the first day of the week you want to be your speed day. Why? Because that's when your body's more fresh, you've had the weekend to recover, and speed is more neuromuscular. So keep in mind, you don't want to have dead legs or fatigued body systemically to do your speed and agility day. So you want to work on speed early in the week. The second day, let's say this is a Monday. Tuesday, you're going to focus on speed/strength. Now, I still might do some speed work, but I'm going to start working in some speed types of exercises like power cleans, snatches, dumbbell power cleans, push press, clean and jerks. Those are more speed-oriented, speed/strength exercises, plyometrics, which are really extreme jumping drills. So I'm going to work in speed strength on the second day, let's say on a Tuesday. Now, take Wednesday off, let's say you go Thursday. This day I'm going to really hit it hard on the weights. Those are the days you're going to do your bench press, your squats, your deadlifts, your arm curls. Maybe even work in some body weight stuff like pull-ups and push-ups, kettlebell swings, pistol squats, those sort of things. So that's the day I'm going to really hit the strength exercises pretty hard. That fourth day, that's when you want to really tax yourself, push yourself, conditioning, gassers, 110 strides, suicides like you do in volleyball and basketball. So there's a lot of things you can do for conditioning. You can do even circuit training for that matter, as long as you're going non-stop. So on the conditioning day, that's pretty much really taxing your body and getting your heart rate challenged and challenging your body without much rest. These other 3 days, these are days that are a little bit less conditioning. You could say strength could be one of those days, but not really. Definitely not on speed and strength days. Speed and strength days, I'm trying to say. Now, the second way to do it, you can go speed on day 1, strength on day 2, strength again on day 3. Now, why is that? Because if I have an athlete, or if I know that my team needs to do a lot more strength work, I'm going to have strength days 2 consecutive days. I'll split it up, maybe upper body one day, lower body the next, or push one day, pulling exercise the next day. So I'm going to go 2 days, two workout days in a row, not necessarily 2 consecutive days. This would be, once again, Monday, Tuesday, take Wednesday off, Thursday, next day would be Friday, and do a conditioning day. Or it could be a Saturday for that matter. So now I'm going to push them hard again on the conditioning day. More circuit training, more suicide runs, more gassers. Well, let's say you go out and run a mile or something like that, but you really push yourself and challenge yourself. The third way, speed, strength, conditioning. Now, if I have an athlete who needs to lose a little bit of weight, and maybe I feel like my team is not in the condition that they should be in, we're going to have 2 consecutive days of conditioning. Not consecutive days, but 2 consecutive training days. Speed Monday, strength on Tuesday, Skip Wednesday, Thursday conditioning, Friday conditioning, or skip Friday and do a Saturday conditioning day. You can do it that way also. You have to be the judge of what you can do for yourself, and you have to judge the temperament of your team if you're training young athletes, or old athletes for that matter. Now, the fourth way, back in the old days when I was early in strength coaching, we would just go 3 days a week in training. Some people still do that, and I'm not putting that down necessarily. Sometimes you have to just do 3 days a week because you don't have time for that fourth day. Speed, strength, conditioning. Let's say it's Monday, Wednesday, Friday, or Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday. Or you go Monday, Wednesday, Saturday. You can do it that way. Now, in between those days, let's say up here on your Wednesday down day, on the first 3, and on the fourth one, let's say you take Tuesday, Thursday off. Those days, I would just not sit around and do nothing. I would do a lot of stretching. I would make sure I'm getting good, healthy food in my system. I'd go for a walk. I'd be active. The one thing you do not want to do is just sit around all day and get stiff, because that will affect your next day of training. Now, there are some variables involved in this, guys, as always. Age is a factor. If you're dealing with young kids, that's going to be a factor. Make it age appropriate. Don't make your workouts too long and too intense, depending upon the age group. If I'm working with really small young kids, we're going to focus on a lot of body weight training. Okay? Training age. Training age is how long they've been training and working out. A person could be 20 years of age, and their training age could be 1 year. A person could be 18 years of age, and their training age could be 5 years. So you have to take that into consideration too. How well do they know the program? How well are they conditioned? How are their motor skills, what they should be relative to the type of exercises and strength and conditioning drills that you want them doing? Time of the year and the season. Now, if I'm a softball coach and I've got a big tournament coming up, I'm not going to have my team go 4 days a week, especially emphasizing too much conditioning, because you don't want their legs to be heavy going into your tournament. Because if you do a heavy conditioning day and the very next day, or maybe the next couple of days, you have a tournament, their legs are going to be heavy from doing that. Or even for that matter, if you have them doing a lot of squats or something, their legs are going to be heavy. So you got to keep that into consideration. You have to program and design it relative to the time of the year and the time of the season. If you're an individual training for an event out there, you have a big event coming up, maybe a big run, you're going to do a marathon or something like that, you don't want your legs to be heavy going into that marathon run. So keep that in mind. Time availability. Sometimes you don't have time to go 4, 5, 6 days a week, which I don't really recommend anyway. But maybe you only have 3 days a week you can do that. So do your speed, strength, conditioning cycle. You can kind of tweak it sometimes. But it's also time availability. And I also recommend that you don't spend more than 45 minutes to an hour doing any workout. Because beyond that, you're really taxing your body too much and stressing the body out to where you're not going to recover as well as you should. Another thing, one more, probably the most important, is motivation. If you're not very motivated, don't do an hour and a half workouts. Don't design an hour and a half workout for your team, which once again is not smart anyway. But if your team, if you're working with small kids, for example, their attention span is about 5 seconds. So I would maybe do a workout that's no more than about 15 to 20 minutes. But have a good speed workout. Set up some sort of obstacle course, let's say for little kids. Or body weight training for little kids, like push-ups and pull-ups, modified pull-ups. Someone probably can't do pull-ups very well. If you're working with older athletes, that's a different story. Now you can make it a little bit longer, go about 35 to 45 minutes. But once again, motivation, if the motivation isn't there and your team doesn't respond very well, you're going to have to make adjustments to that. Okay? So guys, I hope this has been informative to you coaches out there, to you parents out there, to you individuals who are training for any sort of event. I'll be more than happy to work with you. I do all sorts of analysis and assessments here, biochemical, biomechanical, nutritional, hormonal, give me a call. 816-405-7703 is my phone number up here. You can email me at rwpsports@yahoo.com. I'll be more than happy to talk with you and help you out. Take care and God bless. Bye-bye, guys.